Hello, everybody. Harry Carey at WGN opening day here for the Cubs. And a pleasure today in the booth is the crowd of college basketball legend Dickie V. Dickie Vitale, how you doing?
Oh, I'm just happy to be here, Harry. I love baseball, baby. Opening day, and then we got the tourney going. I never get to do it, but I love it.
I never understood why you didn't do the basketball tournament. Everybody loves the March Madness. Have you tried doing any play-by-play for baseball, Dickie?
Oh, sure. I love baseball. Grew up a Yankee fan. My mother, she made me a Yankee uniform. I used to practice all the time making the calls. Oh, yeah, here's the pitch. Swung on. Oh, that baby's gone. Gone, gone, gone. Oh, I love it.
Jesus, Dickie, that was a great job. I can't do basketball because I'm too drunk by halftime. You know what I mean? Thanks for stopping by.
And we welcome you in as you hear producer Mark there. He's basically cleaning out the junk drawer for crying in the night. What the hell's going on?
It looks like he's
Highland?
working on like a 65
Jesus.
Chevy or something with all
Yeah,
that
my
noise.
God, we can hear everything. Welcome into the Boyle Theater, ladies and gentlemen. Scott Oshman, Tim Boyle, and producer Mark.
Nice open.
You like that?
I did, yes.
Do you like how drunk Harry Carey is?
Oh, and wasn't that kind of the norm for him?
Exactly. Like I recorded it and I was like, well, actually, it was Cameo.
It was Cameo.
Yeah, it's Cameo.
Yeah.
Scratch that. So on Cameo, they got, time's a little tough right now. They got a 2-for-1 deal. So usually individually they're like $14.92 for each of them, Dickie V and Harry. They did a combo meal.
2 for 1.
They did a combo for $8.49. So I got both of them.
But didn't you hit me with the trivia that Dick Vitale never really did the NCAA tournament?
He's never done an NCAA tournament.
I
Never.
would have been wrong on that. I would have got that one wrong.
Yeah. Jay Billis almost did. I think he did one years ago, but then he hasn't done one because ESPN is some contract thing or whatever. But anyway, Dickie V, Harry Carey, what a great day today, Tim. It's opening day for baseball. If you're a Seattle Mariner fan, you don't care. But also we got dun, 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 dun.
4 games tonight. We got opening day all over the place. Mariners. Well, should I save that? No, I'll save that.
You
one
should
I'll
save that. You should
I'll
absolutely save that.
Never mind.
But anyway, so Harry sent me that one, and I'm like, God, I can't even understand half of that.
No, of course not.
But I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with it. Mr. Producer Mark, how's it going over there?
Good. You play a very good drunk man.
Thank you.
He's got a lot of practice.
Coors Lights. A whole case of Coors Light gets you drunk.
I know. Are you drinking tonight or is it dry March?
I thought I just heard him crack one.
I cracked a Diet Coke, but I'm going to have a glass of wine.
Oh.
Yeah. He's not a beer guy anymore.
He's going to take one out of P. Dougie's book. Is it going to be like a 24-ounce glass like P. Dougie?
Shout out P. Dougie. We haven't heard bupkis from him.
Oh no, because he's probably hating life because UConn got beat.
And his coach.
Oh, we got to talk about his coach later. You got to save that.
It's on the list. But I have to start with it. I have an existential threat. You don't.
I don't. Let's hear. Maybe when I hear yours, maybe I will.
My existential threat tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is patience.
That's an existential threat.
So yeah, even today,
is there too much of it out there or something?
No, I'm driving the speed limit. I'm Scotty Uber. I'm Scuba. I'm taking the wife because she's still in a boot and can't drive. So I'm humming along the back roads, Snohomish Avenue back there. This is very local for everybody, so no one cares. I come to a complete stop. Okay.
Who does that?
Seriously?
Yeah. Well, you come to a complete stop on these back roads.
Well, yeah, if there's other cars there.
Yeah, okay.
And then I was gonna take a right, but there's construction or something instead of flagger, so I decided to take a left. I paused for 2 seconds, like a beat. The woman behind me is honking. I can see in my rearview mirror. She's just she's like fed up with me, screaming at me. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, lady. I took I don't even know if it was 5 seconds.
Well, you're kind of that kinder, gentler driver out there, with the Subaru and you kind of are. You probably have those "Be patient, student driver" stickers.
I don't, but
that was an existential threat from
And by the way, that one is like creeped up where they're all over the car now. You see them on the sides of the car and the two on the back. But anyway,
Dumb drivers are my kryptonite. I just hate dumb drivers.
exactly.
My kids, I'm yelling at drivers and they're like, Dad, what are you so mean for? He's not obeying the rules of the road.
Oh, but
You're
you know
supposed to
what? You live in Arizona. Arizona's
my
got the
God.
most aggressive drivers in the country.
They're all from LA. They drive 101
Oh my
miles
God,
an
like
hour.
on those main thoroughfare roads where the speed limit's 40, they're doing like 75 and
Easy.
you're getting run over if you're doing
100%.
the speed limit.
In the left lane, you're getting run over.
Number one, I think, in insurance rates here. I'm not lying.
Is it? No
What?
wonder. I'm telling you, they are the most aggressive drivers in like the Phoenix area, especially.
Running red lights, speeding. My insurance is so much more than my brother-in-law in Ohio, Ward Judson, that it is unbelievable. He spends $200 for like 5 people a month for his auto insurance for 3 cars. I spend $800.
Yeah.
Well, you probably got the most aggressive drivers, and there's probably car thefts everywhere down there.
In addition to.
Well,
car thefts.
It's one of the biggest cities in the country.
It is huge.
It's way bigger than people know.
Fifth
biggest.
right now.
Fifth biggest. So my big extension where patients really came in. So I'm at the grocery store. I'm actually with the wife, which is rare. I'm usually the grocery shopper, right? Down there at good old Central Market, Town and Country, right?
Yeah. I can't afford to go there, but
that's
yes.
Complete bougie bullshit, by the way.
Dude, that's like what Whole Foods on steroids.
No, it's not. You're full of beans. Anyway, I'm there. I'm talking to Jess in the deli. I'm getting everything taken care of.
Oh, sure. You know everybody.
Of course I do. I know everybody.
Typical. You probably got their personal phone numbers.
100% Robin, my checker Robin. She's fantastic.
This is classic Scott. Like every time he goes on a plane, he's got the person next to him's phone number and they're texting. Oh yeah, this guy lives in Cleveland. Yes. I got his digits.
Absolutely. I'm just about to go to Marion's line, which Marion, she's been there forever. Love Marion. I'm standing there, and all of a sudden, this woman absolutely just cuts in line at the checkout. I mean, completely cuts me off. Like just hammers right into the back of the belt.
And I'm sure you said something too, right?
Aaron and I were just staring, going. I mean, we were in shock.
See,
Tim.
that's why she did it, because you let her get away with it.
I guess so. I'm sitting there just looking at. They had a nice end cap presentation.
See, like I said, Scott's the kind and gentler.
I didn't even know it was coming. It was like whiplash.
Well, you never do.
She cut in line. She's a checker cutter.
It's a Shonda.
It's a complete Shonda. And so again, and Marion and I are just having eyes. Marion's like, she can't say anything to this lady. And then, by the way, she cuts in, and then she doesn't even look behind her shoulder. She doesn't look anywhere. She just starts hammering shit on the belt. She's just plowing, putting stuff on the belt.
Oh, she doesn't want you to.
I didn't even have an entrance. There's no way. I couldn't get in there.
Yeah. She put that stick up real quick and then slammed it down, and then the oranges and bananas are going up.
No stick. She didn't put the stick. I hate that. When you're on the belt, you put the stick on.
Oh yeah, you got to put the stick.
You got to put the stick.
Yeah.
She's a non-sticker.
This should be a Seinfeld episode. Exactly. She didn't put the stick up.
She didn't put the stick. I didn't know what to do. How am I supposed to know when I put my stuff on the belt? This is civil. Yeah. This is just.
Is this her oranges or my oranges or what?
Mark,
rich people are rude. They're rude. You got to go to the more mainstream Safeway, Albertsons.
Oh yeah, it's the Hody.
Deal with the middle class. Deal with the middle class.
Now I go to Safeway down here. It's middle class, but they don't have anything. They're out of everything you want.
Believe me, I've been the self checkout is you better bring it with the self checkout on a busy day down there.
Oh yeah, it's like they're rocking and rolling.
You have to be paying attention. Don't be on your phone with the self checkout.
Oh no,
because one's open, you got to go.
No, yeah.
You're probably the guy nudging, telling everybody what's open, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Like over there and pointing over there. Oh, that one's open.
Yeah.
Well, you got to.
Okay, that's my existential threat, which is probably pretty lame. Thank you for putting the definition of existential threat in the chat. Mark,
I was trying to put a Giphy in the chat with LeBron James going time, but it didn't load.
Because that is, your existential threat is you took too long.
Your existential threat is your Phoenix Suns. You can get a hot dog for $1, but your team sucks.
Ooh.
Oh, they got blown out last night.
They're
With-
terrible.
Who'd they get beat by last night?
Celtics beat them by
Oh.
30 without Jason Tatum.
Ouch.
You mean the $6 billion Celtics? That's on the list somewhere on my list.
Porzingis had 30.
All right, that's
Durant
enough.
had 30 and 30, but still they got blown out. Yeah,
All right,
they're a mess.
We got to talk March Madness. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Now, before you do, just
Yeah.
a little fun factoid. Alabama tonight just set an NCAA tournament record with 25 three-pointers. It's the most ever in the history of the tournament.
Damn.
And they were playing BYU, who's known for they basically only shoot three-pointers.
That's right.
So anyway,
113 points is impressive in a college basketball
for
game,
sure.
especially in March
Especially in a
Madness.
Sweet
You don't
16.
see,
Yeah.
you don't see scores like that. Usually the defense gets better, teams get better. You don't
Yeah.
score 113 points.
Yeah, they were just lights out for 75 points and three-pointers by my public school math.
Wow, that's impressive.
Arizona State math.
That's serious Arizona State math. If you're not watching the tournament, ladies and gentlemen, just watch the half times. If you got Clark Kellogg, you got
Charles Barkley.
Kenny the Jet, Charles Barkley, Ernie. It's freaking must-watch TV.
It really is.
They're so great.
And this is their last year together, right? Or isn't Charles going? Aren't
not
they going?
not for the NCAA, not for the March Madness,
Not
not
for-
for the
okay.
tournament. It's a different deal. It's owned by CBS and Warner. We'll get into that
Okay.
later.
Okay,
Ratings. It's all ratings.
everything's ratings.
Everything is ratings, actually. That's how the dollar bills are paid. So March Madness, first of all, you want to talk about how horrible the second round was,
Well,
how there's no upsets, nobody cared. It's all because of the NIL. You want to lead with that?
Sure.
You
Well,
sent me
what-
the big Jay Williams cut.
why don't I just say it's not where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio? It's where have you gone, mid majors?
That's
Where
bullshit.
are the mid majors?
I can tell
What do you mean
where
it's
they
bullshit?
are.
They're gone. There's only four conferences in the tournament. Let me walk you down a little
Oh,
path.
here we freaking go.
What is by far like 100-fold the reason people love March Madness so much?
Because the great games and the upsets.
The upsets, the Cinderella teams, right? The mid-majors, the Cinderella teams, these crazy upsets where
I'm
you
sorry.
got number 12s and 14s going on to the Sweet 16. There isn't the only team left is a number 10, and I don't even count them as number 10 because they got John Calipari as their coach.
Well, they're Arkansas, his first year.
Yeah, I know.
So
but
what
it's
about,
John
what about,
Calipari.
What about Maryland, who's just as
They're a number 4 seed.
That's not scratch. But here, my point is,
that's not a
I
mid-major
understand-
Cinderella.
Okay, there's two things. Number one, McNeese State. You picked them.
I did pick them.
That's a mid-major.
I know, but that's in the first round. Typically, to really be a Cinderella, it's like making the Sweet 16
But
and
let
the
me-
Elite 8.
Okay, but that's also part of all 16 teams are part of a major conference, correct?
Yeah, they're part of 4 conferences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know why?
Yeah, because the NIL has stolen everybody. All the mid-major people are gone. Has there ever been time in history where there's no mid-majors left after 2 rounds?
I don't know. There's this thing that happened called consolidation of conferences. University of Houston. Do you remember what they were in?
No, I'm
They're
talking
in the American.
mid-majors though.
I'm
I know there
saying
was a consolidation
There's a
of conference.
consolidation of conferences.
But where's
because
the Valparaisos and the Virginia Commonwealths and the Washtenaw Universities?
they had a
and the,
bad year. You're gonna
No one wants to see blowouts. They want to see last-minute shots. They want to see upsets. That's
Yep.
what makes March Madness
And-
the
and
best
again-
tournament
the
ever.
Cinderella teams
Of
are
course
what makes
they do,
March
but guess
Madness.
what? Guess what?
They're gone. It's gone.
It's
It's
so-
gone forever. There'll never be another mid-major.
It was so bad. The first 2 rounds were so bad.
Let me guess. The ratings were off the chart. The ratings were off the chart.
I'm sorry, they broke a record.
Of course they did. They always do. Every game ever for you breaks a record.
4.9 million average. They broke a record because you know what? You know what the networks want to see? You know what Time Warner, CBS, Turner's, TBS, all these, you know who they want? They want number 1 against number 1.
Sure
want
they
number
do.
2
And
against number
guess
2.
what? They're making it happen, aren't they?
And
they're making it
and
happen.
they're having a great
But I
tournament.
think your common, everyday person out there wants to see a
Of course.
Virginia Commonwealth in there,
I know, but
Xavier.
we've
but
ha-
what about Davidson with, Steph Curry and people
But
like that?
See, I just disagree in the fact that the NIL, yes, I think that's a factor, But like Connecticut didn't get all these kids. He recruits in high school, then he supplements with the transfer portal, and yes, NIL is a part of it. I know that the mid majors. I'm not disputing that it's not part of it, and it could be. I just think we're overblowing that this year, particularly. We didn't have as many as we usually had.
Oh, come on.
We came off the height. We had San Diego State. We had who was the Larinaga guy? We had all these ones that were just, it was crazy. You know what? The ratings sucked for those, by the way, when you had a great team, a big brand against nobody.
Okay.
I'm
sorry, but you think it's just this crazy coincidence that the NIL's happening and all these consolidations of conferences, and there's all of a sudden zero mid majors, there's zero upsets, there's no Cinderella teams.
But there were almost upsets. Xavier had him on the ropes. I hate Sean Miller.
Colorado State won, but they freaking don't call traveling.
But you couldn't even call them mid major because they're
but it's Cinderella though.
Yes.
Number 12, I would consider.
We didn't
Cinderella.
have it. We don't have a Cinderella in the Sweet 16, and
or
that's
mid-major.
The problem. And that's the problem right there. We got to take a break.
Deep down, you're not before we take a break. Deep down, you just don't want to admit that the NIL has ruined college sports.
It's.
That's what it is.
I'm not down deep enough.
Where's Mark in this argument?
He's nowhere. All of a sudden, his mic has gone mute.
You've muted him. Come on.
No, the NIL is proven in March Madness because the stronger teams are getting stronger. So the more popular teams with the bigger bank rolls are getting stronger, and that's why you don't see your mid majors there. There's going to be a whole bunch of mid-major guys are going to transfer to. They're all going
to get sucked up in the NIL. Every one of them. That's what's happening.
Let's see over time.
We're going to be dead, Scott, when it's overtime.
All right, we're going to be back. We have much. I don't know if we got more. We got to talk about what's a traveling call. Number one. I sent a note to the producer, and he hasn't pulled it yet. I asked him to pull a clip of that J. Will clip, and he hasn't.
Oh,
he hasn't pulled it.
Maybe he can find it during break.
We'll see. We'll be back.
We'll get some vittles.
We'll be back right after this. Today's show is brought to you by
Water, the greatest name in showers. Head to waterfromshowers.com. Try some today.
And by
Clean Air, on sale now for a limited time.
That's right, Tim. Be sure and go to mylastbreath.com while supplies last.
Thank you.
If you weren't listening the last time these guys got together, you got to be kidding me.
I think my biggest takeaway, Greeny, of everything over the weekend was that NIL is the death of mid-major Cinderella runs. And I think it still can happen, but I think it's going to be more of a rarity, Greeny.
Because?
Well, there's going to be more of a rarity due to the fact that I think now we're going to see a lot of players that are playing for the Colorado States, that are playing for the McNeeses, that are playing for the Drakes, that are going to get poached by mid-level Power 4, Power 5 conferences, right? And you're going to see teams in the middle of the pack of the Big 10, the middle of the pack of the Big 12, see these players and say, hey, we'll give you 4X, we'll give you 5X what you're earning at your mid-major conference. And when I talk to mid-major coaches, the consistent complaint I always hear from them is retention. We can't hold on to players because these Power 4 schools are just clipping them and taking them away from us. And that's why I think you're seeing chalk as much as you're seeing right now as we get to the Sweet 16. You're not seeing any mid-major left. You're going to see the big boys. And I think that's going to be the case moving forward.
All right.
What a shocker.
I think that's a little overblown.
Oh, come on. He's dead on.
He's not dead on. I'm sorry. What's Gonzaga? Is Gonzaga a mid-major? I'm sorry. They're in the West Coast Conference.
Gonzaga's not a Cinderella team. Gonzaga used to be 25 years ago. They're
going to be in the Pac-12. The other part is the conference consolidation here.
But I don't get what the Gonzaga example.
Because everybody who was a mid-major is now in part of a major conference. One of the top, the 4 or the 5.
No, we're not talking about the Power 5. We're talking about those outside the Power 5.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying
let's talk about GCU. They're going to the Mountain West next year. That's a mid-major.
Grand Canyon University, the Mighty Lopes.
Yeah, exactly. They won the WAC again this year.
Can we talk to you, since you're a Lope fan, you're a Lope contributor, you're an investor in the Lopes? They got their absolutely shit kicked out of them in both the men's and women's. What the hell?
Well, the women did good enough where Arizona State picked up their coach, somebody by the name of Molly Miller.
No, hold on. You said she wasn't.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
exactly.
You convinced me.
It took a while.
You didn't put the baseline contextual like reference point together correctly. That's on you.
Of course.
We'll have a clip from Molly Miller later. I love that's the other thing though. You do love the fact that like 30 seconds after these guys their tournament games are done, they're got new jobs.
Oh yeah, if they do well. Yeah.
I mean, Sean Miller, who I hate, he got the Texas job within like 30 seconds.
But wait, don't forget about the fact that 30 seconds before that, they're saying, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah,
I'm staying right here. This is where I belong.
It's just comical. It's comical. And Molly, she got a job in 5 minutes.
Well, and she had to move 5 blocks.
Yeah.
Too.
Is that what's the commute there from Grand Canyon to?
Probably 15 miles.
Yeah.
That's
if
terrible.
that.
And then we still got freaking Bobby Hurley. What a piece of garbage that guy is.
Well, not like his brother's worse.
Well, he's the nice one. Bobby is.
Yeah.
His brother
turned into a complete douchebag.
What is going on with Danny Hurley?
I think the AD has given him a little reprieve this year because of the injuries. That's did
bullshit.
Play a lot of close games. You're not a contributor to ASU.
I am. I'm an alumnus. Is that
you haven't given $1.
I'll give $1.
If you carried around $1, you could.
You spend it at that foo-foo marketplace.
You know what, Mark Highland? Let's not turn this into an Arizona State podcast, which it is. I don't contribute to garbage. If Dilly Dilly comes to me for $1, I'm going to support Dilly Dilly because Dilly Dilly knows what's going on in the football program. And it's a disgrace that Bobby Hurley is still there. You know this, and everybody knows this who listens to this podcast in the Deekdom. I wanted Bobby Hurley gone 3 years ago, maybe 4. So
I heard you. Did you contribute like all of us did to the Kenny Dillingham Fund?
Of course I did. I bought a hat.
Well, that was $100 hat. I'm proud of you.
$100. Oh yeah, hey.
At least you didn't contribute to nothing.
Let's get this train back on track.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the Cougs enough. Okay. The Cougs. What is traveling, Tim Boyle? And did Queen travel in the Maryland big win over Colorado State here in Seattle?
Funny little story about that. I didn't see it live, but then I didn't hear anything about the travel. I just caught the highlight, and the first thing I thought of is he took like 4 steps. Why didn't they call that? And I'm thinking they did call it because that's why there might have been some controversy or something. No, they don't call it.
They didn't call
your boy, you love Tony Kornheiser.
He's your guy.
Yeah, Tony says he took 4 steps. Now I only count like 3. Either way, it's beyond what traveling is. Tony says 4. Other people say 5. I don't know.
He took a bunch of steps.
He took a bunch of steps.
But Tony's thing was he's pissed that they don't call a charge anymore. He's upset that they've changed the rules on that. They don't call a charge. But yes, he took a ton of steps.
Oh, for crying out loud. What are you doing?
Exactly. Very fitting. How do they not call that though? And then let
me tell you why.
Okay, tell me why.
Let's have a good conversation here. In real time, I watched it live. All right, my both feminine daughters were actually like 8 rows up at center court watching it. And I asked Avery, I go, did it look like traveling? And she goes, no, you couldn't. And part of it's the angle. I think in real time, it didn't look like traveling. It didn't hit me in real time. It didn't hit me right away. When you see the replay, you're like, oh my God, the guy took 75 steps.
But I'm sorry. The refs live in real time. The refs have to call things in real time.
Okay, but
everything's in real. They call it in the WNBA all the time.
Well, they call it in women's, yeah.
In the WNBA, they are women's,
even women's college, yeah.
But they don't call it and now in the NBA, I'm not surprised. They let him get like 7 steps. You see LeBron James highlight reels, and he never dribbles the ball.
It's the Euro plus.
Yeah.
It's like Apple TV, Apple Plus.
But then you got this contingent of people say, well, you can't make that call right there in that time. It's like, what are you talking about? If you have to make that call right there.
This is the point. If he makes that call, let's just say he makes that call right there.
Then he made the right call.
He had big balls, if he calls them.
Go ahead, Mark. What'd you say?
No, the ref would be respected for big balls. No one's ever going to dispute it. He took 3.5 steps.
Exactly.
He took 3 steps.
I've just put the clip. Show the clip.
Okay, I'll show the clip.
And he's like carrying the ball too.
But no, you guys.
He's carrying the ball. It's traveling. He probably threw in a cuss word at the same time. I don't know what else he did, but there's a lot of stuff going on.
Didn't you hear Gene Tessitore on the program?
Screw that. They always side with the refs. They always would. He could have taken 7 steps, and Gene would say, "Well, in this situation, you can't really make that call."
He gathered, Tim.
He
gathered. I mean, was he at the farmer's market? Was he getting a load of bananas?
Exactly. Is this like 1741 where you're a gatherer and a hunter and gatherer? I mean, I don't know. What is it?
He gathered, man. That's what they do. They gather.
Is that a thing?
And he didn't have. First of all, the amount of bullshit in Gene Tessitore's when he got on. First of all, he hadn't shaved in 3 days.
Oh yeah, it was like you're coming on the air looking like this.
They had to go to TJ Maxx, get him a shirt, maybe. That was hysterical. Mark, you felt like you wanted to say. Do you want me to play the clip?
Which clip?
The actual. Here's the clip. Wait, hold on, I'm not sharing my screen.
No, because that won't do any good because they can't see anything.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It won't.
You may as well not play it.
Thank you.
But
great job.
My
great
issue. Oh wait, no. Let's hear Mark. I want to hear Mark's.
Mark spelled his name in the chat as Marque. Are you French?
Yep, that's how I spell my name. It's just that's my formal name.
Who's getting a phone call?
Whoops. Oh, it's my mom.
Oh my God, we should put her on. Can you put her on?
No.
We should talk about that.
Listeners.
We should talk about that trip. Oh my God. What are we talking about? Is it traveling?
Yeah, traveling.
First of all, can we agree on one thing? That was an absolutely insane shot.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, when you get to travel like that, it's easier to make those shots. When you don't have to worry about dribbling the ball and putting it on the floor and having somebody steal it from you.
Mark?
Yeah, I agree. It was a tough shot, but taking 3.5 steps gives you the advantage.
Seriously.
Big time.
Exactly.
I mean, the guy was right in his grill. That was an incredible shot. It was at the buzzer. It was phenomenal. I can't imagine them making that call right there. You know, the other thing
that's what I don't get.
Here's the other part of the argument. Okay, hear me out. Can I walk you down a street? I don't like dirt. They hadn't called traveling all night, all conference, all year, all tournament. They had never. There was no context. There was nothing. They never called
then
traveling.
Let's get rid of the rule then. Let's just get rid of it.
But that's not the point on that call. How you want them to call it right then when they've never called it?
Yes. I want them to call. If it's traveling, I want them to call
But they hadn't called traveling that whole night.
That makes it even worse.
God, you're impossible.
Here's the thing. So I want to hear where Mark stands on this. What about this excuse? Well, you can't make that call right there at that point in the game. I just don't get that.
I don't buy that. I don't buy that argument. Go ahead, Mark.
That's exactly why the call wasn't made. They didn't.
I don't think so. See, I think that's
they didn't
bullshit.
want the refs to determine the end of the game.
No,
but they did. The refs did determine it. They determined it for Maryland, not Colorado State.
And now I give Colorado State. I did not see a lot. I did not see a lot from Colorado State arguing about that call.
No, they didn't. Hold on, I have a drop here. I got to play Mark.
This is Mark Hyland talking. Producer Mark. And you agree with freaking Tim on everything. I hate you. This friendship's over.
See, you do. You once again agree with Mark.
He's a smart guy.
You
what can I
agree
say?
with Tim, and I don't like it. 37 years. I thought I meant something to you.
I think I agreed with you once this year.
Yeah,
I think you did.
You went out of your way to like half-ass agree with me on something on a point I made. But
it was some piece of minutia.
But see, this is where I am informed by the officials that I'm around in other sports, because I don't think they don't sit there and cognitively go, there's 2 seconds left, there's 1 second. They either make a call, which they're responsible for, which side of the call. They all have rules that they're supposed to do. I think they make a call or don't make the call. I don't think they're sitting there going, "Oh, well, the guy made a hell of a shot with time running out to win the ball game and going to the Sweet 16." I don't think all of that happens to an official.
In a rare circumstances, I agree with you on that.
Wow.
And here's why. I just
Holy
don't think they're
shit.
calling traveling. They're not looking for traveling.
Holy shit balls.
Well, a blatant misuse of the rules of basketball. Now, if it was 2.5 steps, okay, maybe. It was 2 steps, maybe. But he walked from here to New York. I mean,
and he had kind of cradled the ball too. He kind of was carrying the ball, and
he's a freshman, right? You don't allow a freshman to take 3.5 steps.
Yeah,
maybe an All-American.
Michael Jordan, they used to let him get away with like an extra half a step, but they didn't let him get away with nearly what they get away with in the NBA.
Dude, we watch professional. We forgive it in professional because it's consistently never called. You can walk 17 miles,
Yeah, you can do the
NBA.
March of Dimes walkathon.
Exactly. Exactly. In college and the men's, they don't call it. We went to a high school game and they don't call it.
And boys.
Yeah. Right?
Girls, they call it.
Yes. So
the NBA is crumbling, though.
So
no one's watching the NBA.
Let me just bring this to a
LeBron
happy
has ruined it.
Consensus agreement with all three of us. Okay. Because we got to move on to the women's tournament. We agree it was a hell of a shot. And we also agree that they don't call traveling in men's basketball.
Well, it's two things can be true at the same time, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying I didn't expect them to call it because they never call it anymore.
And admittedly, part of the reason I was a little butthurt because that was the last Cinderella team. That was a number 12 seed, and I wanted them to move on.
And to your point, like what's forgotten is the Colorado State kid made an insane three-pointer.
Yes.
Insane.
Exactly. And it's all no one will ever remember that.
And then you had the Arizona-Oregon team, and they got the Bissell guy. Oregon has a 7-footer Bissell. The poor guy's already going bald. Did you see that?
He looks like the guy from Ohio State a few years
ago.
Who was the guy from Ohio State, the African-American guy that looked like he was 50 when he was...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
He went to
Odin?
Yeah, I went to Odin.
Odin.
Yeah. Remember him?
Oh, my God.
He was like gray beard and everything. And...
he was 20 going on 58.
Yeah, he's 85 today.
That's why he never did anything in the NBA.
Good. This poor Bissell guy, whatever his name is, Bissell, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about cleaning carpets. Anyway, you want to go to the Molly Miller clip? We're going to the women's game.
Do we want to talk about the women's side of things? There's some.
I do want to talk about the women's.
Hold
on.
Oh wait. How about let me get a shout out into Calvin Sampson? By the way, Did you hear his little clip? He chastised the announcer for calling the Gonzaga. He's called him Gonzaga.
Yes.
And Calvin Sampson basically said they've been popular for like 25 years. It's Gonzaga. And how do people not know that after they're in the turn? They just went to 9 straight Sweet 16s before this year. Listen, it was like a record.
East of the Mississippi, people call it Oregon. They don't even call it Oregon.
But when you hear
Washington.
Washington.
Yeah. When you hear Gonzaga anytime you in the NCAA tournament, you hear their name 1,000 times.
He's great. I'm rooting for Calvin Sampson, who he also in part of that clip he talked about how he used to growing up he was always called Kevin instead of Calvin, and his mother told him you never let anybody get away with that.
Correct. And he also gave a shout out to WSU, and he mentioned Chelan and Snohomish all in a press conference, which I was pretty impressed. Some of my favorite places on earth.
Yes. Any other? Let's see. Let's go down his list. Here we go. Maryland non-traveling call. We checked that. Calvin Sampson. Okay.
We're good.
Okay. Boom. Boom. Boom.
Yep.
So can we go to the women's and the women's bracket? My Iowa Hawkeyes got the absolute crap beat out of them. Heartbreaker against Oklahoma. That was the worst game they played all year, frankly, and I'm terrible. It was terrible. And then the other saddest part is Juju Watkins goes down. And the minute I saw that live, I knew I'm like, she tore her ACL. Like she's out. I just knew she was toast.
No, that's too bad.
It's horrible. And then plus they were my pick in the tourney.
Not anymore. They're toast. I got UCLA going all the way.
And you know what? That's a good pick.
Thank you.
In the little quickfire pool, I'm now currently in first place in the men's. Thank you very much.
You are. You're smoking it.
But the women's, what's interesting was we all have different picks for the national championship.
We sure didn't in the men's. Like
No.
everybody's got every single person. 17 of us got Florida.
Florida. So
I got Houston right now. I'm in third place.
Oh.
Got 38 games right.
And by the way, Houston had a nail biter with the Zags. The Zags like tied it up with a few seconds left, and that's when Calvin Sampson said that should have been an Elite Eight game, not a second round game.
Yeah, that was a tremendous game. The women's game had double overtime. I've been watching a lot of women's as well. Avery, the oldest daughter, came over last Friday. It was freaking awesome. There have been spectacular games on the women's. There's much more level competitiveness on the women's.
Agree.
There's
It's
way more anybody
level
can
set.
beat anybody.
Yep.
You still got Paige Beckers. You got Flage Johnson from LSU. This kid, if you're not watching Flage Johnson, she is exquisite. The shit she does on the court is phenomenal. And then you have the two back guards for Notre Dame, which is also there. It's very fun to watch. I like watching the women's almost better than the men's, but I've told you that 100 times. And I don't want to really. It's a little early for fever talk.
Oh, but it's coming though. It's coming real quick.
It's a little. We're just a little bit premature on Indiana fever talk.
I
but
think
they're
Caitlin's
making
gonna,
moves.
Caitlin's going to be a machine this year. I think she's got like a chip on her shoulder and something
and
to
she
prove.
bulked up, steaks and shakes.
Yeah, steaks and
She is bulked up. All right, we're gonna take a break and we will come back and we got to talk. I think it's time we got it. Well, we didn't talk about Dan Hurley getting suspended or not.
Well, he didn't get suspended yet, did he?
Didn't he?
No, I don't.
But
think
he's
so.
in deep shit.
I hope he does, but I don't think he will.
Mark?
Yeah, the Raleigh police are investigating for threats.
All right.
I mean, I think that's going extreme with the
Yes.
basketball coach that just came off a loss and is pretty emotional.
We're gonna
I
come
think
back.
that police department has more to do than try to prosecute a basketball coach.
I tend to agree with that.
Yeah, he needs to come off his high horse. You know what? Victory and
Does
winning.
he have a PR person or
winning,
something?
let me just say this. Winning doesn't look good on everybody, and it's not looking good on Dan.
No.
Hurley.
Agree.
Losing doesn't look good on him either.
No, that's true. We'll be back with Molly Miller.
Oh.
What a press conference she had. The new Arizona State University women's basketball coach. We'll be back right after this. Today's episode is brought to you by Candy. It's hard enough to break your teeth and chewy enough to pop a crown right off, but it's good. Go to higherdentalbills.com to get your free sample today.
And don't I know it? I just lived through it last week.
Well, hello there. This is Squid Mondale, and you're listening to the Scott and Tim Sports Show.
And your first
Let's
year.
go. That's let's go. Like, you're going to be my people. You know, I want to rally and do a little huddle jump with you after games. I want to meet you before games. I want to invite you into practices. We had an open practice for our student group last year. Like, I want you to feel ownership and I want you to be a part of this. So I can't wait to ingrain myself in the student body and have you all come see a fun brand of basketball, but something you're going to be really, really proud of to represent Arizona State.
All right.
Go Molly, go
Let's
Dilly.
go. Man, Molly Miller, she's
got some
fired up.
energy.
How much did she get? She get some good coin?
It's
I don't know if
women's
that was
coaching.
reported.
Oh, interesting.
I'm sure she
I
got
haven't
more
seen
than
the
what she was
numbers.
making. But
Well,
It
maybe
will
not.
be-
GCU is loaded.
It will be public information.
All right. Well,
She
that
takes a
concludes-
humble salary of $250,000 at GCU, so maybe she got $1 million.
that's
All right. We're
Not
all
bad.
rooting for Molly.
yeah.
Congrats to Molly. Phenomenal press conference. She won the press conference, don't you think?
She did.
Nice
Press
job.
conference of the year.
Nice job out of her. And you know what? Her and Dilly can do some stuff. Now, where does Bobby Hurley fall on this? He's the third wheel. Nobody.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
not.
Nobody
going,
cares
He's
about
not
him.
going to functions with those two.
They don't even know who he is.
No, he's out.
Not when you got those two around.
He's over. Okay, let's move on to the National Football League. Since we've been gone, Kelly Clarkson. It never gets old for me.
Apparently not.
Since we've been gone, my God, the Seahawks are a different team. I don't even recognize them.
And
Did they go to rehab and come back?
Apparently. Well, what do you call him? So Snyder? He's been working.
So Snyder has been busy with Mannequin
And
Mike.
Mannequin Mike.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I like everything they've done so far.
Do you really?
I do. What don't you like?
Look, I don't mind.
They get Sam Darnold and get rid of Geno, and they save like $15 million a year right there.
I like that. I'm not a Sam Darnold, but again, to me, Sam Darnold is just it's another Geno Smith. He's younger and cheaper.
He's younger though.
He's younger and cheaper.
And we got a third-round draft pick.
Fine,
too.
but Tim, do you see Sam Small-Hand Darnold getting us to a Super Bowl?
No, but I definitely didn't see Geno doing it either.
I didn't either, but that's my point.
I think he gets a little bit closer, maybe a game or two closer.
Okay, can I quote my oldest daughter? She had the greatest line.
Yeah, go.
So we have a bridge quarterback, a bridge to a bridge. What are we, the New York Jets?
Well, the New York Jets
Avery.
don't even have that.
That's my
That's
point.
a good analogy, though.
It's a good take, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's my problem. It's
But don't you think we got better, that we saved money, and I think we got better at the position? We got another draft pick, a third-round pick, which is not nothing.
I think it's a good move. I just think it's going to be more of the same next year.
Yeah, but you're also putting other pieces of the puzzle together. You pick up Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp. Do we have that clip?
After
Doesn't
7
exist.
years, the Seahawks finally listened.
Shit. God, producer Mark, he's just not on his game. Is the wine? Is the wine killing
He's
him?
got that wine in the solo cup.
I could not find that Leslie Jones clip anywhere. But do you want a football team?
Yeah.
Do you want a football team that doesn't spend the money? There is a salary cap. If you're going to build parity with the other winning teams, spend the money. It's happening here in Arizona. They're not spending the money. We had a grumpy year last year.
They freed up a bunch of cap space there by making these moves.
Huge.
I think they got
space.
better and freed up some space.
I like the strategery of the moves. Okay, I like where we are on the cap. The Sam Darnold is like fine. I like it from a financial standpoint. He's younger. He's cheaper. All that stuff. They're getting Cooper Kupp. They got your boy Cray
River Craycraft. Cray.
They got
shout out to the Cougs.
Scantling, Vanda Scantling, whatever his name is.
Valdez Scantling.
Scantling. They've got some things. They have JSN. They got rid of, Lockett, which is fine. I just think they're going to about the same. I don't really see them improving. I think we're going to see much of the same.
And by the way, they got rid of DK, but DK comes out the day Tyler Lockett gets basically cut from the Seahawks. DK steals a little bit of his thunder and says, "I want to be traded."
Yes.
Which I thought that was kind of a dick move.
But we don't. There's got to be something else going on there. I agree. There's a dick move, but I just don't know. There's got to be more to that story. You got a new offensive coordinator who I've of course named Kubiak. You ought to know by now.
Good one.
Thank you. He's boring as shit, by the way. So basically, let me just preview Seahawk football.
Okay.
Imagine the Mariner baseball team and how boring they are. Put that in football because they're going to be boring as shit.
Do you? You think so?
Oh my God, they're going to be so boring. With
Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold isn't shit. Sam Smallhand. Everybody's like, oh, we got Sam Darnold, Smallhand Darnold. Guy can't hold a football.
He won like 17 games this year.
And then what happened?
Well, he lost in the playoffs.
Because he's
the
terrible.
pundits are still picking the Rams to win the NFC West.
Yeah,
I haven't saw San Francisco had higher points, higher likelihood
than the
and
Seahawks.
They haven't signed Brock. They haven't signed Brock Purdy. Debo Samuel. They lost. They ended up losing. Brandon Ayuk is out, I think, till October. They lost. I think Greenlaw left there. They lost a lot.
And the question is, are they going to sign Brock Purdy? Because you know what I don't know what he's demanding, but the market for him is about 50 million.
55.
Yeah, 55 maybe.
Yeah. Rounding out the NFC West, let's go to our Cardinal insider, Mark Island.
They made some good moves this year. They needed a pass rusher. They went out and got Josh Sweat from the Eagles, he had a phenomenal year last year. He had a great playoff run, and they needed a pass rusher. That's a big move. I think they got to get a number 2 wide receiver. They still don't have that number 2 wide receiver, so they can free up Harrison. Amari Cooper, I think they were rumored to try to go out and get. bolstered some things on their offensive line. They still have a good running game. Picked up some defensive talent. The draft has them picking up a cornerback. Trying to get a number one cornerback.
How many picks do the Cardinals have?
Oh, like 30. They've traded so many picks. I think
Really?
they have the 16th pick this year, I believe. But they still think they may trade that for multiple picks. That's the MO of Monty Ossenfort.
You want to know how many picks the Seahawks have as we record this?
Well,
2.
No, they have 11 picks.
Well, they got 5 in the first 3 rounds.
They have 11 picks right now.
5 in the first 92 picks. They've got 5 of them.
How many first round picks? Because maybe they're saving
they got
money
one
for
first round.
Okay.
So here's the thing with I don't believe I think Mike Manikin McDonald, he's fine. I'm not expecting some great lift in his defense. I don't think his defense is as great as everyone's talking about. Number one. Number two, Kubiak is boring as shit, and he's got Sam Darnold who's boring as shit, and we have no offensive line yet, and we're gonna get some kids through the draft. Maybe Abe Lucas, your boy, a local kid, comes back and he's healthy for the year. We got Cross. We got Olu Timmy at the center, which again no one said is he our center or not our center. I don't know if he's good or not good. Second most important position on the team,
according to you. Mindy says the kicker, by the way.
Does she?
Oh, all the time. She's pretty adamant about it.
I think that's a healthy debate.
Yeah.
Nice job, Mindy. Anyway, the Seahawks. I'm not excited about the Seahawks. But I'm excited about draft. Maybe I'll be more excited about draft.
I'm liking all the moves so far.
Okay.
I'm liking it. I'm officially.
What about Fat Russ?
Oh yeah. Well, keep in mind this is the year we're not going to talk about fake Fat Russ.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought that was last
and
year.
The year before. 3 years in a row.
You know what? The funniest thing is we've been talking about FFR since 2017.
Oh, of course.
Established 2017.
Okay, let's talk about.
He goes to the
Aaron
Giants.
Okay,
no, let's go to FFR first.
Fake Fat Russ has to be first.
Yeah. He goes to Pittsburgh obviously didn't want him. And then the Raiders were actually making there was a bunch of talk with the Raiders.
Yeah, back
Pete
with
Carroll. That didn't happen. Then he was going to go somewhere else. Wasn't he Miami?
Oh, yeah, there was big talk Miami, yeah.
And nobody wanted him. Now the Giants, of course, the Giants are like, it's like where quarterbacks go to die.
The Giants are like the catch-all of catch-alls.
They're
like your disposal in the sink. I mean, everything just kind of falls down there. And that's what he is now. He's a has-been.
Yeah, now it's going to be Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, who's been a perennial backup.
Who I love.
Can he still see, or did he get?
He's got LASIK.
Oh, he got LASIK. Okay, so he got LASIK. Now and then you got Danny DeVito or whatever the guy's name.
Tommy
is.
DeVito.
Tommy DeVito. Yes.
You know, shout out him. He's still getting a check. That's a nice job out of him.
Check from
the NFL. He's got on a roster.
Yeah,
Mark Holland.
There
you go.
They have 3 backup quarterbacks. They
do. They have 3 backups.
How is that coach still?
Who wins that job? It's not DeVito. I'd say Jameis and Russ are going to go at it.
The quote we just said, Russell says he expects to be a starter.
Well, of course. Keep in mind, Russ lost his last 5 games in a row.
Your boy Colin Cowherd had this a few days ago before it was officially. He heard that Sierra wants to be in New York, so it was the Giants or the Jets, and they were going to be in New York.
Okay, that's funny you say that because remember they were saying that a whole bunch years ago. They were saying no, they want to go to New York.
Yeah,
that Sierra wants to go to New York and blah. See, because they're celebrities. They're more celebrities than he's more of a celebrity than a football player.
For those who care, Colin Cowherd, no ratings. FS1 does terrible.
No ratings for Colin.
The TGL, just to put it in perspective, I know this is not on the plan. The TGL, did you watch the finals?
No, was there a final?
Yeah, they had a whole championship. It was kind of exciting. The TGL gets more ratings than
that's
FS1.
The Tiger, and that's the Tiger Woods. What does that stand for? Tiger Golf League or something?
Yeah, what does that stand for, Mark? I don't even know.
TGL.
But the new whatever women's professional 3-on-3 league gets higher ratings than FS1. That's how bad it is.
Well, the women's 3-on-3 gets higher ratings than the NBA.
No, not true, but I get your sentiment.
Well, you're kind of a ratings guy.
I am. Okay. Did I mention the March Madness?
Jesus.
Okay. let's stay in the National Football League.
Yeah.
So the Seahawks, you're excited about all the moves.
Yeah.
I'm not excited. I'm just kind of like, my expectation is not. I don't think we got really that much better yet. But I will tease the listeners, all 64 of them. We are gonna do. You're in town still?
I think so.
We're gonna do an NFL draft show like we've done for many years. We took a hiatus last year because of me, but we're gonna do an NFL draft show. I love that show because we have been spot on. Honestly, we have called that shit like nobody's business.
We're on a streak.
We're on a heater.
We are.
Aaron Rodgers, do we care?
Yes. People care for some reason. Because they hate him so much, they care.
It's the end of March. Is he ever going to announce where God's gift to football is going?
You know what's funny is he's kind of pulling almost like an identical Brett Favre.
Yes.
You know, messing around with the Packers for year after year, then going to the Jets. They both went to the Jets. Now they're both rumored to go to, Favre went to Minnesota and Aaron was. Is he purposely trying to be exactly like Brett Favre?
This pains me to do this, but that's an excellent point by you.
Thank you.
Hold on. I have a sharp pain. It
does hurt.
Okay,
but
really
it's like
hurts.
a spitting image of Brett Favre.
Crazy?
Yeah.
Because he wants to go to Minnesota now?
Well, yeah, because he's done exactly what Brett Favre did.
Right.
Messed around with the Packers year after year.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be there. And then right to the Jets and now right maybe to Minnesota. So Minnesota's been talking about signing him, but I don't know. I think Aaron Rodgers has got so much drama with him. Everything has to be drama.
But wait, now it's JJ McCarthy, your boy.
Yeah, because I think they probably got tired of the Aaron Rodgers talks, and they probably just said, "Screw you, get out of here."
They're obviously leaning into JJ McCarthy because
I
they
think
give up Sam Darnold. They could have had him on a franchise tag.
I know, but ideally for JJ McCarthy would be to go under Aaron Rodgers for a year or so.
He's already been out of here.
No, he was hurt all last year. He wasn't even on the field.
I know.
No, JJ wasn't. Aaron was, and he had a decent year. He just spent 6 hours with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Is he just trying to leverage that for Minnesota? I agree. JJ probably needs a year.
Yeah,
Aaron
he needs a year.
Aaron could go there. Aaron could go there for a year, but you got to get JJ on the field. You're never going to get him on the field and progressing. You're saving a lot of money because you didn't want to sign Sam Darnold. McCarthy's on a rookie deal.
Yep.
You can't bring Aaron Rodgers in for $40-50 million.
Oh God, no. Rodgers would be like 20 million, I think. At this stage in his career with all his baggage.
He needs the fake fat Russ deal. It's $1 million.
Well, fake fat Russ only signed for like 10 million at the Jets.
Or the Giants.
Or the Giants, yeah.
Yeah, wow. But you know what? Him and Kirk Cousins have played the game. Kirk Cousins apparently going to stay in Atlanta.
Yeah, well, yeah,
as a backup.
And he's on like a $200 million contract.
Yeah,
he's on a 3-year 180.
Yeah,
he's going to get $180 million. I would stay there too.
He's made more than like any quarterback in the last 15 years or something. He made more than Tom Brady did.
You see that movie, Ocean's 8? That's what those guys are. They went in, they robbed the bank, and they are walking out free.
Cousins has made like $400 million or something.
And he hasn't won a goddamn thing.
No.
Unbelievable, those guys. Unbelievable. Just slipping a little bit back, a lot of controversy here, Mark. I know you're to the ground here in the Seattle market, but everyone was fired up about the contract that Cooper Kupp got. I know we've talked about Cooper Kupp, but he's 34 years old. He's been hurt most of the last 2 years. He got $15 million a year, but it's actually the way the contract's played out. It's not quite $15 million a year. People were fired up. They thought that was way too much for him.
I didn't hear a lot of that.
You didn't?
No, I didn't hear that people were mad. I thought people were pretty happy about it. Well, keep in mind, we were going to have to pay DK like $30 every year if he stayed.
Yes.
So it seemed like it was right in the wheelhouse of where it should have been.
You know, the other interesting part of this whole 3-ring drama is I have not heard what Geno Smith's actually getting at the Las Vegas Raiders.
I never heard a thing about it.
What's he getting, Mark? Is there any news on that? Have you heard anything? He wants 40 to 50 million.
That's what he was going to want at Seattle.
Yeah.
That's why it was good to get rid of him.
Let me see if I can find his salary right now.
So the draft. Let's just button this segment up with the draft.
$31 million with the Raiders.
31.
He signed for 31. That's the same thing that Seattle offered. They offered him 31 with incentives.
He probably wanted to be with Pete Carroll.
He did. God, that's a bromance. Oof, they love each other. Okay, who do you want in the draft? I want them to draft a quarterback.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
In the first round? See,
I'd
rather
round,
see. Yeah,
second round.
For me, it'd be like second round.
I want offensive or defensive line in the first round.
Yeah, I'd say O-line in the first round. I could see quarterback in the second or third round. Yeah.
You like the Dart kid?
I like Jackson Dart. Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they got to pull the trigger on something. I know are they going to hold out again for Arch Manning? Are they going to hold out for the next class?
Well, to get Arch Manning, you're going to have first pick in the draft.
Well, they could.
So you basically got to go 0-17 or something. So for that,
yeah, they could be again.
According to you, they might
but
be.
Wait a minute. Let's go back to the Seahawks really quickly because this is I'm remembering something which is rare. I asked you what you thought the Seahawks next year, and it's a little early to predict their record. But I believe that we had a conversation. You were like, 9-7.
No, I nailed Seattle right on the button.
You did this year.
Yeah, this year. Yeah.
But next year, you didn't think it was going to be that much different
for this coming year.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it'll be 10. I think it'll be the same. Yeah.
Will that get you into the playoffs or not?
It should. We were the only 10-win team that didn't get in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know that it's gonna.
I think 10 wins generally get you in. Not like the 54% for the Mariners, but 10 wins, I think that gets you in.
Way to be a spoiler alert. All right.
Supposedly, Cam Scatterbo had a private 40-yard dash today in front of scouts. Yeah, in front of scouts.
With who? Where is he going to go?
Oh, who knows? He's probably a second rounder.
Oh, you think?
Gentile will definitely go number one.
Number one running back, yeah.
Yeah, Gentile will go number one. But let's see. It's really on
number one.
No, he means number one running back.
Oh, okay. Number one running back. I apologize. I blacked out for a moment.
You did.
Yeah.
Who's going to go number one? Is it going to be Cam Ward?
A lot of people are saying Cam Ward. Shout out to the Cougs.
Yeah. Built by Cougs.
Tennessee's going to take him.
Who's going to be the number two, number three quarterback? Is it Shedeur? Is it not Shedeur?
Now Dion said
Shedeur
today
will be the number one. Shedeur will be the number one quarterback taken. Oh no, number two quarterback taken.
Number two quarterback. Yeah. Okay.
With Travis Hunter going to Cleveland, probably they need a quarterback.
That's what I keep hearing.
And speaking of Cleveland, what are they doing? Are they collecting quarterbacks? Didn't somebody else just go there?
They did just grab somebody.
Yeah, no, it's like.
But what about Deshaun Watson? Is he? Do they think they've given up on him?
I don't know, but they got a great signing in the what's his face, the great defensive end.
Yeah, No, you mean the guy that wanted to leave and it had nothing to do with the money?
Yeah, exactly. Until it did.
Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett.
Thank you.
He's out of there. He wants to play for a winning team. It's not going to be Cleveland. But then they bitch slapped him with the wallet. And then all of a sudden he's happy as hell. This is where I wanted to be.
Where are the Haslams, the owner of the Cleveland Browns? And we got a lot of Browns listeners. Shout out Randy and Reg, everybody.
This used to be a Cleveland podcast.
It did used to be a Cleveland and a Steeler podcast.
It did.
Which, by the way, what is going on with Mike Tomlin? What is wrong with you, Tomlin? You're going to bring in Rodgers? What happened to you?
Is he? I don't know if he is.
Who's your quarterback, sir?
Well, don't they have Fields?
They do. No, he left.
Oh, he left?
He left. Fields left. He's at the New York Jets.
Oh, he went to the Jets.
He went to the Jets. They got DK, they got Pickens, and they got nothing.
They've got something brewing. Could they be moving up in the draft or something?
They could be. They should be. I don't know.
Okay.
Talking about quarterbacks that die, Kenny Pickett is at the Browns.
Well, that's Scott's guy.
Oh, I love
that. Small Hands Pickett.
Small Hands Pickett. He's the younger brother for Sam Small Hands Darnold. They're related.
Hilarious.
Don't check 23andMe. They went bankrupt. Clean your data. Okay, we'll be back with more crap after this.
Today's show is presented by Podcast. Everyone has one. You should too.
Oh yes, Tim. We've been working on this one for a while. Just go to apulseandapodcast.com. to get yours delivered by the end of the show. And be sure to use code We Invented Podcasts
Because we did.
at
actually.
checkout to pay extra.
We were doing podcasts before people knew what
We've been
podcasts
doing
were.
podcasts since 1972.
Guten Tag und Grüß Gott from Bavaria. This is Randy from Neunkirchen, Germany, and you're listening to the Scott and Tim Sports Show.
Today's episode is brought to you by
Traffic. Serving the Puget Sound area religiously for 40 years. Get yourself some.
Use coupon code STUCKIN for a discount. Back to the show.
A discount on traffic. All right, we're back. Last thing before we go into bonus, Pete the Appraiser was supposed to come on tonight, but it just didn't work out. So I'm gonna segue.
I'm sorry, I was swallowing. Wait, Pete the Appraiser couldn't get on?
Yeah, I know.
That is shocking news.
Well, we don't give him a lot of notice, so I gotta stick up.
You
for
gave him
him
like 7 days.
No,
notice.
I gave him 2 days.
Did you really?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
But now we're gonna get him on. He's gonna talk about I'm gonna steal a little bit of his thunder. The
Please do.
Paul Skeens rookie card. But do we all know who Paul Skeens is? Because his significant other might be more popular, which is
Livy. How you done?
Yeah, the one that was making more NIL money than any other female athlete, and in a sport where nobody watches, gymnastics.
Let me put this drop in.
Show me the money.
Go ahead.
So Paul Skeens, popular because of his girlfriend, gets drafted, and he's on Pittsburgh Pirates. They come out with a rookie card for him.
Yeah.
But it's one of one.
Yes.
And it's got I don't know. When Pete comes on, he'll explain it better. But by the way, as a little spoiler alert, Pete isn't buying the whole thing. He's got a little bit of your blood in you, where your latest thing is you don't believe anybody.
I don't believe anything.
Yeah, you don't believe anything.
You know what I
Pete's
do
a little bit of that way
too. You know what I do believe? Ratings.
Yeah, that's all you believe in. Yeah. But anyway, he get this card. I don't even know which company it is, but it's one of one. So some random 11-year-old kid pulls the card, and all of a sudden the Pittsburgh Pirates start offering this kid the world. They offered him all kinds of memorabilia, signed memorabilia, but get this, 30 years of 2-season tickets behind home plate for 30 years, or maybe it was for life.
Wow. I remember reading about this.
The kid ended up saying no, and then the card went to auction and it sold for $1.1 million. And is Paul Skeens really worth $1 million? He has $1 million card already?
I mean, I don't know. That's a Pete the Appraiser question.
Yeah, see, that we'll have to get him on. But Pete doesn't believe, he's not buying any of it. He thinks it's
what does he think happened?
I don't know, he just doesn't believe, he thinks it was set up, or this 11-year-old kid pulls the card.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, he'll have to come on and explain it. But like I said, he's a little bit like you. He doesn't believe anything.
But didn't Tom Brady's, I don't know, he sneezed into a napkin and it sold for $14 billion or something?
Yeah, but it's Tom Brady. I mean, it's not the same. Well, I think Brady's card went for like $4 million. And
yeah.
I think he's got a little more accomplishments than Paul Skeens.
Well, and he's taller.
He is tall.
Is he taller?
I think. Well, it depends.
He might be taller.
If he's standing straight
up. What was the
up.
clip you sent me that had? Oh, it had Michael Jordan and Tom Brady.
Playing basketball. Yeah.
He's telling these kids, YouTube Michael Jordan, as he's just dropping J's on them.
And he doesn't ease up on people.
No,
he never did. But anyway, so Dick's Sporting Goods end up buying the card for $1.1 million.
Are you serious?
Dick's Sporting Goods, and they're gonna put it on display in their store or something.
Really?
They better have that thing behind some serious locked up shit.
Yeah, I didn't read that.
Yeah, Dick's Sporting Goods. We'll get Pete on here. We'll get Pete on here for our draft night.
It's a 2026 goal.
It is.
I think it's in our strategic plan.
So that's my little baseball card.
Okay.
Update.
I guess we should, just before we go to bonus, we should talk about baseball season. It's opening day. They opened in Japan a couple weeks ago. I mean, I don't have Root Sports, so I have no way to watch tonight's opening game.
Well, yeah, you do, because you're at my house. You're in the Boyle Theater.
I'm in the Boyle Theater.
And I've got it. So
and you call me the bougie guy
What are you talking about?
You're a bougie boy.
I didn't even know I was paying for it. I just something I had. And I didn't realize it was costing me money.
And then you're calling me because you get your Comcast bill and it's like $700.
I know, and I gotta do the plan you did where you go in and you'd say you cancel it and put it under your wife's name or something.
What's Mindy's maiden name?
Mudgett.
That's right. Yeah. Oh my God, that is right.
Also related to Herman Henry Mudgett, America's first serial killer.
The Devil. What was the book?
The Devil in the White City.
Unbelievable.
Oh, you've read that?
Yes.
Oh,
yes, I have read that.
There's supposed to be a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio bought the rights to it.
Is Mindy going to be in it?
She's starring in it. Yeah. She's the first one that gets killed.
Good news: the Mariners are not losing. It's 0-0 against
zero.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, so they've been going at it for an hour and they don't have a run. Shocker. But we got
0-0 in the fourth.
We're already behind in the standings.
Yes. We started. I look at the standings today. We're already opening day and we're a game behind. Of all teams, Houston's a game ahead of us already.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Wait, whose phone is ringing?
Is that an old phone?
Who is that?
That's my brother. I'll have to call him back.
Oh my God, is that Pat?
No, it was my other brother. But
which brother? The Phoenix brother?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Todd? I'll call him. Yeah.
That was Todd?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, by the way, we're driving back from Tacoma Dome to watch high school playoffs, which I posted like 700 things on Instagram for. And his mother calls, right?
Yeah.
And you picked up your mother, and it's just hysterical. Absolutely.
For you.
For me, it was, Comedy Central guy has nothing on your mother. On Nancy, unbelievable.
There's never a dull moment.
Can I do a brief?
Sure.
Timmy, where are you going? Oh, I'm heading to Dallas. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, have you been there before? Yeah, I was just there like a couple of weeks ago. Where are you going?
Everything's home. I can say, she'll say, oh, where are you at today? Oh, I'm over in Renton. Oh my God, really?
How old is she?
83.
Oh God. Mom, how's the TV working? Oh my God, it's working great, Timmy.
It's a theater.
It's unbelievable. She's kind of like Dick Vitale meets I don't know who.
I don't know either.
I gotta put that in. Okay, we'll be back with bonus right after this. The Mariner, that's your Mariner talk. I got nothing for you. Although
we're down on the Mariners.
Although Cal Riley.
They did sign him to a big contract.
Now I'm calling him what you call him. Cal Raleigh.
See?
Signed, I think,
Don't get him confused with Luke Raley.
I try not to. I think a very moderate, player.
I think he took one for the team.
$17.5 million, 6-year, $105 million, 17.5 per.
He should be well over 20.
He should be.
Yeah.
I think he gave him a deal, and I don't know why, but I do know why. He got rid of Scott Boras. That's not his agent anymore. He went with this guy and he moved. That is
good for him.
I am shocked that he signed with the Mariners.
He probably saved several $1 million dumping him.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
So everybody expects them to do nothing, and we'll be back with bonus right after this. All right, it's bonus time, ladies and gentlemen, from the Boyle Theater, from the Bougie Boyle Theater. Scott Oshman, Tim Boyle, producer Mark with you. And bonus, do you have a lot of bonus here,
I
sir?
don't have a lot. I have some. What do you got?
Well, I have a new segment that's going to kind of like fold underneath. It's a sub-brand of bonus.
Let's hear it.
It's called Who Died.
Oh, Who Died? That's right up my alley.
It is, because, and by the way, I just want you to know you're off your game. The travel, I understand it.
Yeah, I am.
But I am texting you dead people faster than you've texted me.
Well, no, I think I did the Gene Hackman, though.
You maybe, but I got you on George Foreman.
You did, and that was impressive. That was very impressive. That was kind of a sad moment.
If you haven't known this, for 100 years, Tim, I just wake up one day, any time of the day, and I get a text, and it's just so-and-so died.
Well, you got to know who died, right? I mean, it's important.
Nobody knows. Nobody covers dead people like you.
They don't cover it enough.
You are on it.
It needs to be covered more.
So John Feinstein, which is actually tragic.
Did they say how he died?
No, there's no public. He's 69 years old.
Yeah, it's not too old, but it's not
He didn't
young.
take great care of himself. He had some health issues.
He was a Jewish fella.
He was. Dear friend, again, longtime Washington Post, but he wrote the most famous Bobby Knight book ever. and he wrote 14 books.
He wrote one on Tiger Woods too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you remember when he was on Mitch in the Morning?
Oh yeah, he'd come
And
on once a week.
They got in fights.
They did.
Yeah.
Well, he stopped coming on.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He did. And so Tony Kornheiser, lifelong friend of his, he like, I love Junior. Everybody loves Junior, but we all had to take a break from Junior. So there's like 3-4 years where Tony didn't even talk to him.
To Feinstein?
Yeah, because
Wow.
he couldn't handle him anymore. Yet years previous, he would be over there every week. He would be at his house for dinner they were like, they traveled together. They were on the same sports writers, right? They were like so close. And then
the tribe sticks together.
Well, they do, but he's so obnoxious and so just ridiculous. Everybody has to take a break from him.
Yep.
But that was a legend, man, a legend. So then George
Foreman, famous for probably the most famous thing besides the grill. That's off the sports, but the fight with Ali, the rumble in the jungle.
He's the most famous for losing a fight.
Yeah. But he was so heavily favored going into that fight. George Foreman was the peak of his prime. He'd never lost a fight. He was just killed everybody up into that point. He was heavily favored because Ali was already at the point where he was at the end of his career.
Yes.
And they fought in Zaire, Africa.
Yes.
The rumble. And then that's where Ali introduced the rope-a-dope and kind of got Foreman tired. 8th round, Ali then just opened up on him and just knocked him out.
And
great fight. I have it on video. I have it on DVD. So, and there was a whole thing leading up to the whole thing where in Africa, everybody loved Ali for some reason. They hated Foreman.
Yeah. Well, that's when boxing was one of the most popular sports in the country.
And sadly, all the golden era boxing, they're all dead. Ali's dead. Frazier's dead. Kenny Norton's dead.
One of the greatest
Muhammad
calls
Ali's
of
dead.
Howard down goes Frazier.
Goes Frazier.
That was, and by the way, who was that against?
That was against Ali.
No, it was against George Foreman.
Oh, that's against George Foreman.
Because Foreman kept knocked him down like 7 times before the fight finally got stopped.
Yeah.
Down goes Frazier.
Yeah.
Kept saying it over and over. Yep.
Well, there's David Lynch that died. Roberta Flack died. Hasselhoff's wife died. Dolly Parton's husband died.
Oh, yeah, that just happened. Yeah.
Wow.
But don't forget Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman. God, was he phenomenal? I mean, they went through all the movies. His unbelievable
incredible
parts. And that was a weird
and obviously
story.
Hoosiers is like, and that's why it's kind of in the sports realm.
It is in the sports realm.
One of the best sports movies of all time.
Which you've probably heard the stories. He actually didn't think that film was going to do. He hated it.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't think it was a good story. When they were filming it, all the stories came out where he's like, this is garbage. This is the worst thing I've ever done. He had no idea how great it was going to be.
And it was.
And it was great. But I mean, you could go on and on and on with his unbelievable parts. And then how he died was weird. It turned out to not be that foul play, right?
Well, how he died, apparently his wife died first.
Yeah.
And I guess Gene Hackman had really bad dementia. So his wife dies.
Sad.
And is just laying on the floor. One of the dogs is locked in a crate. And then I think Gene Hackman just walked around for a week, and then finally he died because he probably wasn't eating or taking his meds, and then he croaked. And
we need
a
sponsor for Who Died.
We do. Exactly.
A morgue. A hearse.
Put in some calls, Mark, would you? Talk to the sales team. They're killing it so far. That concludes the Who Died segment. Let's get into what you watching.
Okay.
Yeah, you
White Lotus, by the way.
Yes, everybody's on the White Lotus.
Oh, are you on it too?
I'm not on it.
I'm current.
I'm considering it, but this is.
But is it good? Really, the first couple episodes are just weird. They're going down directions that I just.
Are you current on the 3rd season now?
No, I've got 2 episodes in. I'm more into Full Swing. I think I'm on 5 episodes of Full Swing.
Boom.
The Karen Reed documentary
I don't know about
is
that
really
one.
good. Yeah, it's on Max. It's about this crazy woman in Boston who supposedly killed her Boston police officer boyfriend.
What's
It's a good documentary.
What's it called?
Something Karen Reed.
Okay, I'm writing that one down. That's right up.
It is quick. It's
Okay,
5 episodes.
Okay.
Now everybody's on board with Running Point.
Oh
Kate Hudson,
I watched
Netflix.
the whole thing. That was amazing. It's kind of a comedy take on Winning Time and a whole Jeannie Buss
Jeannie
story.
Buss. It's the story of Jeannie Buss. Go ahead, Mark.
Ted Lasso. It's the next version of Ted Lasso. It was so good. I watched that probably in 3 days after one of our fraternity brothers, Eric Cartel, said, "You got to watch this." I watched it in 3 days.
Awesome. I picked up on that. It's by the executive producer of Ted Lasso. And
well, speaking of Ted Lasso, they just announced they're doing season 4.
They're doing another one.
Because they kept saying it for a long time, and it was like, nope, that's not true. We're not doing it.
So I'm out at a very, very nice dinner, and I get a call, or I was somewhere, I can't remember. I couldn't pick up, and Tim calls me, which is rare. It was very rare when he calls me. I'm just kidding. He usually calls me, and then I call him, then he calls me, and then I call him. It's ridiculous.
Okay, before you go, you ever see these like reels on like Instagram or TikTok where it's like, okay, you got to call one person, and if they don't answer, you get $1 million. That would be Scott, because I guaranteed I'd walk away with $1 million. Guaranteed. You never answer.
I called you, and you never answer.
Well,
You never answer. You call me.
I always call you first, and you never answer.
Okay, true confession. I was on the shitter.
But that doesn't mean you answered.
No, I didn't answer, because what do you want to answer when I'm taking a dump?
But then I called you back. I'm telling you, it takes me like 27 times.
Oh my God. I called you back within seconds, and you didn't answer.
Hey, I'm a mover and a shaker. Once you don't answer, I'm on the phone to the next person.
Then I called you again, and you didn't answer.
Well, you called me like twice in 5 seconds.
Jesus,
so yeah.
And then you call me back, and I'm doing business.
I wasn't important enough, apparently. But
anyway, you called me the other night, and then you texted me because I couldn't pick up. I would have, but I couldn't. And you're like,
"Oh, full swing.
Do I have to go back and watch the whole thing?" Yes, Tim. Yes, you do.
But you really don't have to.
Yes, you do. Oh, that's complete. That is half-assing it.
Okay, but I took your advice. In fact, Mindy's watching it. We're like in the Brooks Koepka. I think we just got done with the Brooks Koepka.
Do you hate him more now?
Well, I already hated him as much as I could hate him. And I'd seen that episode.
Okay, so are you through season 1 yet?
Oh God, no. We're only on like 2 episodes.
Oh my God! And you switched.
Yeah, the second season's really good too.
It's
all about the Ryder Cup.
Oh, okay.
And the third season's, I'm about 5 or 6 in or so.
Wow, you guys are like binge watching.
Well, I don't know. We picked up on it when you were supposed to pick on it. Good gracious. Really quick.
What else you watching? What else you guys watching?
I just
Reacher. You watching Reacher?
No, is there a new
Reacher
one?
Guy? Yeah,
I watched the first couple seasons, so
new season.
We watched Adolescence on.
Yes, everybody's into Adolescence.
I didn't really care for it.
Okay.
I kept thinking there was going to be a twist or something.
Not enough death. Not enough.
No, it was just I don't know. I thought I was expecting more.
Not enough. Is it a hospital drama? Because you love a hospital drama.
I can't get Mindy to watch any of it. But yeah, have you seen Adolescence?
I have not.
It's been the number one show on Netflix for like a couple weeks now.
Mark, you got anything?
No, I think I mentioned Disclaimer the last time. It's kind of a very, very saucy, very good. I mean, Cate Blanchett is one of my favorites. You don't see much of her, but
Cate Blanchett?
Yeah. Cate Blanchett.
Okay.
Yeah, she's
what show are we talking about?
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. Okay.
We Reacher, but I'm still back on. I've got a lot in the can right now. I have Bad Sisters, the new season of
I don't
Bad
like
Sisters.
it. I don't like
love
it.
I think it's fantastic.
I stopped watching it.
I have
too slow.
I have Slow Horses is too slow for you.
It was very. That's
Jesus Christ.
Fitting name for that show.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
It's too slow.
It is.
Boil.
I mean, land the plane at some point. Okay.
Unbelievable.
God, just.
Yeah. Cobra Kai is too fast for me.
Great show, by the
way. Okay. What? Oh, go ahead, Mark.
I really like Slow Horses. Andrea, my wife, likes Slow Horses too. She blew through it, and then she made me watch it. She said, "You got to watch it. It was really good."
It's awesome. Okay. little local thing. So Jason Puckett, pucksports.com, which I am featured every Friday for voicemails. We'll see if I get in tomorrow. He's been laying off 1 year for pucksports.com. And he has got a new segment, a new podcast, part of his overall, because he does all these little individual stuff with Ryan Divish from the Seattle Times, which is great. John Canzano. He basically got, do you remember back on KGR, Steve Sandmeyer?
Oh, yeah. Totally.
And you remember on Twitter.
He was with Mitch, wasn't he?
He was with
Yeah.
Mitch, and they did a bunch of other stuff. You know, on Twitter, he's the funniest follow.
I don't think I follow him.
Oh,
on
my
Twitter.
God. He's so funny. He got him and Matt Stretch Johnson, who's an old producer of
Yep, I remember
KGR,
him. Yep.
and they have a new show called The Sports Pit, and they just did the first one. It's this show. It's this show, and Steve Sandmeyer.
Why does everybody steal our material?
Well, because it's good. It's good stuff. It is so phenomenal. He does like an 8-minute rant on the Sonics and if they're going to come back and why they're not going to come back, and if they come back, who's going to go and who's not going to. It's exquisite. Steve Sandmeyer is a tradition. He's so fun to hear him. So that's my shout out there.
Nice.
I think it's all I got.
I'm done.
Tank is empty.
Tank's empty. Planes landed.
And I would usually say I'd like to thank all the sponsors we didn't get, but we got one tonight, baby.
We got several.
Mark?
And for all my Sun Devil brothers, Arizona's losing 53-44 in the second half to Duke.
I'm watching it right now.
Yeah, when you hear this, it'll be 2027, but that's fine. All right.
Down go the Wildcats.
Down go the Cats.
53-44.
Cooper Flag, do you think he's such a phenom? Just real quickly. We're watching him right now at the Boyle Theater.
I think he is.
Mark,
Yeah.
Mark,
I think
do you think
he's
he's
too. I think he's gonna. The Jazz and the Wizards are trying to tank to get him.
And
The trouble is,
and the Sixers, maybe.
They're gonna go to one of the. He's gonna go to one of those teams, and they're god awful right now.
Is he going to go for sure? Is he going to go to the NBA?
That's the rumor. That's what everyone's saying.
I think he's really good. Okay? I think he's a really, really good player. But is he must watch? Is he electric? Is he
no.
He's not that for me.
Well, he's too young. The guy was
He's
17
18.
years old when he went into college basketball. He's only 18 years old.
Yeah.
I agree.
How mature are you going to be in the NBA when you're 18 and a half years old?
Yeah, Scott's a little too critical, right?
I am. I'm a little critical. All right. We want to thank the sponsors we got, and I want to thank all of the guests we couldn't get. Mark, that's on you.
Good job, Mark.
All right. We'll talk to you back. We probably won't be back until the draft next time.
About a month. Less than a month, though.
That is less than a month. See you later. Good night.
Good night.